Welcome everybody to my god, probably the best E3 that I think I've seen in a long time. Um,
Mhm.
and it's such a huge event that I couldn't do this discussion all on my own. So I have brought in someone to do this to bounce my questions and discussion off. If you would like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm RomaruDarkeyes. Pull up a chair and grab a mug of cocoa. Let's get this bitch done.
Okay, so as we said, as I said rather, E3. Holy shit.
You can
Um,
say that again.
we saw some things that, I think a lot of people expected. I mean, for example, the Smash Brothers stuff, it was leaked beforehand. Everyone expected things like Uncharted 4 and
And
like the new
everyone was
Star
expecting the
Fox.
next Call of Duty.
Yeah, but oh my god, even though people have been asking for this for God knows how long, I think people have given up. I think people have given up like ever seeing
Especially
it.
after last year.
Yes.
We'll give you Final Fantasy VII with HD resolutions, 1080p PlayStation 1 graphics. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot, Square.
yeah, yes. I think as far as where they went with that, how long do you think they've actually been planning this?
I
Um,
it's hard to say. The fact that I think it must have come about in discussions after last E3, whereby I'm sure they must have seen the disappointment on people's faces and just gone, maybe we made a cock up somewhere. But to say that, I mean, there must have been inklings way back in, hang on, when was it? 2005. The tech demo, the Final Fantasy VII tech demo that was
yeah,
to
the
show off the
PS,
PS3
yeah,
hardware.
the PS3 tech demo. I was actually about to say, I wondered whether that was like way back when they actually did that.
Hmm.
Um, I wondered whether they were, even though it was a tech demo, I wondered whether back then they were even thinking about it then, and
Well, I
and
mean,
then from there it's been a case of will they, won't they? Nobody really knew, and now they've actually said they're going to do it.
well, yeah, but I mean, to look back at the articles of the time, Tetsuya Nomura said he wouldn't even consider looking at a Final Fantasy VII remake until the new Final Fantasies overcame the Final Fantasy of the past.
Yeah,
So,
but we
ha-
all knew that was never going to happen.
certainly not with 13,
Oh God,
but
no.
that's for another time.
Yeah,
Anyway,
definitely.
shall we get started?
Yeah, I think first things first, we shall watch the trailer again. Um, Whether I'll actually be able to put this as a full video, it's unlikely. It's most likely going to be screenshots.
Hmm.
Um, but we will bring this up. So, do you want to actually count us in for the trailer so we can time each other at the same time?
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press.
Make containing
May
content appropriate for children. Hmm.
Let's hope.
Yes, after
Oh,
everything
look, a
we've seen
bird.
before.
No, it's interesting actually because the tech, the reading that's going on in the background, it's actually referencing all that playground. First time I saw that as well.
Yes. As soon as that playground showed up, I think everyone pretty much knew. And I mean, the kids playing in the background with the swords.
Mm,
What's your opinion on those soldiers? Because they don't quite look like the ones that you see in 7.
it's gonna be interesting. The fact, I mean, you're effectively playing, not to put too damper a story on the story, but you're effectively playing a guy who wields a giant sword against a mercenary army full of guys with assault rifles, but that's always been a problem with the Final Fantasy
Yeah.
sort of story base, I think.
Now, see, this
The
is.
slums look gorgeous,
Yeah, and I was
if
going to
that
say,
even makes sense.
I know I might be skipping ahead because we are actually going to have a section on stuff we want to see, but
Barrett.
One thing.
Sorry, I'm
No,
just
sorry.
watching this.
One thing I want to actually bring up is that we never actually see anything other than, like, I think Sector 5 and Sector 7. And as far as we can tell, as far as the game said, that there were, like, 8 sectors to Midgar. Now that they're doing a remake, I would actually like to see, I know I'm skipping ahead, but I would actually like to see more of these other sectors, being able to actually explore more of Midgar.
Confess, I'm not sure whether that's really necessary. I mean,
well, it's just that
there's already sketchy information at best so far. They have
just
suggested that
going by what the trailer actually shows, we see a train, and we clearly see South Edge written on it. Now, the city of Edge was something that was brought up in Advent Children, so that right there already shows that there's probably going to be more of an expansive Midgard just from that. They're actually bringing in other areas that we might get to see, that we might actually get to explore. And I mean, the fact that we can actually see city areas with cars driving past. I mean, whether we'll actually get to pilot vehicles like out of minigames, because like there's that one minigame in the original.
I should think that would be a stretch. It's already going to be quite a lot of content in there already for them to start adding stuff, but who knows? So, we've looked at the old trailer. Is it going to be worthwhile revisiting the old tech demo trailer and see the comparison in, quite literally the comparison in technology, how the graphics have improved?
Yeah, I think we should.
All right. You want to count us in this one?
Okay, doke. But like we did last time, 3, 2, 1, click.
Okay. So I mean, already we're seeing evidence. I mean, the particle effects alone on this starting section, not quite as impressive.
That's something we didn't see in the trailer for the remake. No live stream.
Well,
no live stream whatsoever.
It was in the live broadcast, but I mean, just to come back, I mean, look at the character models. The character models, by comparison, I mean, we used to think that the old Final Fantasy VII, well, this compared to the old Final Fantasy VII is obviously a massive step forward, but looks like they've taken just another massive leap forward, obviously in technology, but just in the way that, I mean, the music as well. There's no real comparison, is there?
No.
They've had 10 years to work on this from this point.
Look at it from this point of view. The cities and the roads that we actually see in the new trailer. None of that is in this. Like, you don't actually see stuff like that. That's come directly from Advent Children. So I really think, just from the trailer we've seen in the remake alone, we're going to see an expansive sort of location. I mean, just this model of Cloud alone, I mean, compare it to what we saw in the remake, even from a behind view. They've certainly... By comparison, I think Cloud's outfit looks different. They might have modelled it more based on his outfit from Advent Children.
Perhaps. Which is a bit of a... I'm not going to say worry, but I mean, we'll tackle a little bit of this later on as we're going on, but I'm a little bit worried that too much influence of Advent Children is going to come into this. But like I say, we'll talk about this in a sec. So, what do you think are the strong areas then, with regards to this trailer? I mean,
I think as with all Square Enix games, the graphics are fantastic.
Oh God, yes.
Just
that playground scene.
Yeah,
alone.
as we just said with the tech demo, you can definitely tell where the improvements have been made in technology.
But certainly graphics don't make a game. I mean, Minecraft's an obvious exception to that.
Oh god, yeah.
But
The original Final Fantasy VII, despite the fact that graphically the characters look like little Munchkin Muppets, um, they do. They look. Cloud looked like Popeye. Let's face it. He looks like Popeye with those like really over the top blocky forearms. But yeah, I mean, even back then, nobody really cared about the graphics so much as the story.
yeah, and of course the story's already, well, to say the story is already written is probably to get ahead of ourselves, because we don't know what this remake's actually going to involve in terms of whether they're going to attempt to improve it or whether they're going to. I mean, it's going to be interesting because a lot of fans, certainly a lot of the more rabid fans, which I think this is more to appeal to, it's going to be different to sort of justify to them trying to improve on something that they think is already perfect.
Well, for me personally,
I mean, we'll get to that in a second. But
what I was going to say, for me personally, I think the more genuine fans of the series are actually, you know, as much as like we want to keep it close to the original game, I think a lot of original fans are open to new things, so long as it doesn't deviate from the source.
But as I say, I mean, we'll tackle that in a sec. What else do you think we're going to see? Certainly benefits to this new remake. I mean, I'm totally stoked about the soundtrack. I must confess, because I've got Final Fantasy MIDI.
Definitely.
I got the bloody MIDI tunes from Final Fantasy VII on my MP3 player, and I can rock out to those. But I've also seen where they can go with like the Black Mages, the obvious, the Square Enix sort of rock band, and I've seen what they can do with.
This is something I was actually going to bring up, and it's a good thing that we are on the soundtrack for me to actually bring this up. Do you think Nobuo Uematsu will be back for this?
I'd like to think he would, but
because it is his original score.
True, but he wasn't featured in that trailer, which does suggest. I mean, you had some big names in that trailer, and the fact that Uematsu wasn't there is kind of significant.
True.
Perhaps not massively so, but it's still worthwhile noting.
Well, you've got a point there, I will admit, but at the same time, they don't mention soundtrack at all.
No, true.
They don't even mention the soundtrack being done by anyone else. So perhaps they are maybe trying to get Uematsu on board with it. I mean, as far as they're going with this, I mean, the original game, it was Sakaguchi that was the forefront of it, and now it seems like it's pretty much going to be Nomura who's on the forefront of this. He is the director for this game.
And if I'm correct, he's the guy that worked on Advent Children, isn't he?
Yes, he's the director of Advent Children.
I should have really done some research before I started this video. But yeah.
He is the guy that actually designed the characters for this game. I mean, at least his art style was used.
Well, obviously, I mean, technology itself has come on from where we were with Advent Children, so certainly the graphics potential for that is different. But I mean, it's funny we should mention Advent Children because it does bring up the sort of one of my worry points, certainly for this potential remake, the attitudes of the characters. I mean, certainly, Advent Children does follow Cloud around a lot, but all we sort of see from Cloud during that movie is a bit of a mopey, sort of emo type character, and I didn't get that impression playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time. Obviously, this was 10, 15 years ago now. And I didn't get the impression that Cloud was anything other than or at least for the first part of the game, I didn't get the impression that Cloud was anything other than a merc doing a job. He was there. He came to help Avalanche, the terrorist, well, freedom fighter group, came to help them basically wreck shit up. And he was more than happy to get paid for it. And he didn't give me the impression of being the whiny sort of emo that he does turn into in Advent Children.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand why they might have gone that direction with Advent Children, because I think it's supposed to be, now that the mission's all over, Cloud is regretting losing Aerith in that conflict.
Oh
But
God,
at the same
we're going to call her
time,
Aerith. That's going to piss people off.
unfortunately, her name is officially Aerith, because in Crisis Core they changed it. I'm pretty sure, even though she wasn't actually mentioned by name in Advent Children, that's the name they went with.
That alone is going to fuck the nerd. It really annoy the nerd community, because you've got half of them that say Aerith sounds a beautiful, lovely name, and Aerith sounds like someone's got a fucking lisp, man.
But then you've got the purists that all follow the original pronunciation.
Yeah. Frankly, I don't give a shit. Spoiler alert: she dies.
I was gonna say it's like the Titus Tidus debacle.
That would completely fuck everyone up, wouldn't they? Actually, she lives in this one. Go figure.
Actually, you want to know something?
Yeah,
I was gonna say, you want to know something? How funny would it be? You get to that point, and it turns out Aerith, whatever. Turns out she's not the one that dies, but in fact Sephiroth actually comes up behind Tifa.
Tifa can't die. She's the one with the boobs. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, certainly, I can't imagine they'll go too far from the original content.
I don't think they could, other than to maybe expand the world.
Well,
so basically,
the reason I say
doing stuff that's not going to like destroy the original narrative.
Yeah, but the original narrative, there was a limitation, certainly with the character models, certainly with what was available at the time. The original character models didn't really. You could see the expressions. They were quite expressive in the way that they used to sort of talk to one another. They would
was more body language.
There'd be body language, certainly, but there's a lot more certainly that you can do with the technology now, and it's going to be interesting to see how the body language from the original. Well, as I say, the impression I got from the original one is that Cloud was a mercenary doing a job. You only get that sort of question of who he is, what he is, much later on in the game, as he starts to discover his roots and he starts to discover that he's not who he thinks he is.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't mind if he starts getting a bit emo there and a bit sort of self-introspective, and you know, it's part of the development of the character as a whole, to especially with this character, because it's a very much a journey of discovery for him. The journey of discovery for Aerith. I'm going to wind so many people up.
It's not Tifa, it's Tifa. Fuck you.
Oh, fuck off.
You know, there's a few people that actually call Barrett, they call him Beret, and I creased at that.
I wear him on my head. I am a Frenchman. Anyway.
Yeah, go on.
Let's close the racist door. Anyway.
Just open it back up again.
How many subscribers do you think you're going to have after this? But I mean, there's other elements of the narrative that we're talking about, alterations from the original. I mean, there's certain things, like I say, personality-wise, there's going to be more stuff that they can do to express. There's going to be more stuff that they can do to sort of add to the narrative.
Oh, but God, I just thought.
You've got to... Go on.
Cait Sith. Are they going to call him by his original name, which is Ketchi? That's actually how you pronounce it. Are they going to call him that by that pronunciation, or are they going to stick with Kate Sith like everyone was used to?
Honestly,
And an even better question:
how the fuck are they going to do that? He's going to look like Baymax with a cat on his head?
actually, that's how it's going to end up. That's probably how it's going to end up. But no, I was going to say, I seem to remember that in at least the English version, Kate Sith is voiced by an Irish guy, I think, in Advent Children.
He was in Advent Children? I don't remember seeing
Yeah,
him.
he was riding on the back of Red 13.
I remember seeing him in Dirge Cerberus.
Yeah, he was riding on the back of Red 13. He didn't have his Moogle anymore, but he was on the back of Red 13 in the Advent Children.
If I remember correctly, he's an actual guy.
Oh yeah. He's
And a serious
what's his
furry.
name? Rufus? No, not Rufus.
No, Rufus was a different bloke.
No, not Rude. Rude, Reno. There's so many of them. Fuck, what's his name?
To Wikipedia.
Oh, please don't make me Wikipedia this, because I'm going to have people yelling on the comments saying, you don't know who the fuck he is.
Why are you commenting on this game? You're obviously not a fan if you can't remember Kate Sith is such and such a person. Fuck you. It's been 20 fucking years.
That's why, yeah. 20 fucking years, yes. That's how long we've waited for this game. Our minds are going.
Some of you motherfuckers listening to this were not even a glint in your daddy's ball sack when this game was made.
Oh, I for the life of me, I...
Oh, Christ.
But, oh, where is he? Reeve. That's it.
I just found it same time.
I knew it began with R, and
They
there's
all
so many
fucking begin
characters
with
with a
R.
name that start with R, and they all sound similar. Rufus, Reno, Rude, Reeve. It's half the time.
Anyway.
It just really annoys me when the characters have similar sounding names. But
Okay,
anyway,
we're getting
deviating off topic.
So
the inclusion of all these characters. There's one thing that I've got to say about these characters that I do hope they do actually change, and that is, we've pretty much got it established in Advent Children that Vincent and Yuffie were actually there. They were actually present during the final battle, meaning that their presence is canon from Advent Children standpoint. So rather than being optional like encounters,
and not just optional encounters, but you have a voice dialogue tree. You have one path. If you don't do that one path correctly, you are fucked and have to start again.
Yeah.
No, just make them join the fucking party.
Yeah, just if nothing else, rather than meeting her like in a random battle, have her,
as a mini boss.
Well, not even a mini boss. Basically, just have it where, when you board the ship, when you board the ship to Costa del Sol. Have her, run into you before there, because that's where you can first encounter her, is like in a random battle before there. Just have her show up in the city and you fight her there. And Vincent, just have him appear while you're in the mansion in Nibelheim. Just have him show up, or have it so that your party actually actively walks into his room and encounters him.
I was going to say, he could be the janitor. He could basically be taking care of the place, and he just goes, "Well, you fucked shit up. I better come with you." I don't know. The man's not got that much of a backstory until Dirge Cerberus, anyway.
That's something I would else I would like to see. Aside from, Cloud and, to a degree, I suppose Tifa, because she was there during the events in Nibelheim. Everyone else's backstories are quite small.
You can't really say that. Barrett does get quite a lot of backstory.
I'm not disputing that. He gets his whole backstory with Marlene and all that, but I'm just saying.
Not just Marlene. I'm talking about later on in the game where he meets up the other guy with the gun hand.
Dying.
Fuck off! I can't. Thank you. I couldn't remember his fucking name.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I want to see more development from that. I mean, what we got was really good. I liked it. But I want to see a bit more expansive to it.
It's going to be interesting to see what maturity rating they decide to go with. I mean,
I wonder if we'll actually see scenes where they graft the gun onto Barrett's arm.
Well, that'd be interesting. But like I say, I mean, with this upgrade in technology, the upgrade in graphics, is it really going to be? It's going to get a mature rating if they start having people basically dying or keeling over with blood spraying everywhere. But some of the scenes in that game, I mean, not counting the very infamous scene that we're going to cover in a second, but some of the scenes in that game where the aforementioned dying, falling off the cliff, and Barrett losing his arm in the first place. I mean, that's gonna get the game a mature rating. And if
Barrett's obscenities are going to get
it
a mature rating as well.
But that's what I'm saying. If they cut content for the sake of trying to pander to a wider audience, I think they're going to alienate a lot of the older fans that have been waiting for this for, like I say, years. I think it'd be interesting to see what they do.
Well, I was going to say, when you consider that a lot of games that come out at the moment, that already have like a lot of blood and a lot of swearing in it, you know, kids still play.
Yes, but that is because of bad parenting. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, since way back in like PlayStation 1 times, games have evolved to where that sort of content kind of seems to show up in a lot of games.
Yes, but there's an age rating system for a reason. Like I say,
yeah, I know.
This is a topic for another video entirely. But I'm just thinking that, okay, Grand Theft Auto 5, to give it an example, first time you run into Trevor and he's banging some biker chick druggie over over a kitchen counter.
I'm not putting a screenshot of that up.
No, don't put a screenshot of that up. Do stick figures, that'll be fun. But no, that's the first time you run into Trevor, who is, frankly, a nutcase. But that game's got an 18 rating. That game has an 18 rating for a reason, because of this type of content. But the original Final Fantasy VII, I think, had a 15 rating. At least the European rating, I think, on the box was a 15. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that kids won't get hold of it, because they will. And like I pointed out, that's not a conversation for this video. What I'm saying is that if they cut the content to try and make it appeal to more to younger players, for instance, your Final Fantasy 13, I mean, what rating did that actually turn out to be in the end? Was it a PG or a U or or whatever the bloody American rating system is? I'm not entirely sure.
It was dumbed down, I've got to admit, because they were appealing to a wider audience. I mean, the game branched out onto the Xbox, which, as far as I know,
and it had Leona Lewis singing the fucking soundtrack, but that's beside the point.
Oh god, I really hope that doesn't happen.
I mean, how are you gonna handle the brothel scene? How are you gonna handle the scene where basically you're about to get gang raped? Yeah, Cloud in drag. Cloud about to get gang raped by a bunch of... I mean, these are the two branches. You either get dragged into Don Corleone's room to be attacked by him, or if you're not slutty enough, you basically get thrown into the room with the rest of his crew, and you're at risk of getting gang raped. And I'm not saying that it should be cut from the game. But what I'm saying is that
there's the infamous bath scene, or
yeah,
jacuzzi
the
scene with all the
men.
Yeah,
That's I mean, to be perfectly honest, it probably wasn't necessary in terms of the story narrative for the original game, but it is going to be one of these things that if they cut it out, there's going to be fan outcry, even though it's probably not really justified for the sake of.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt the narrative to take something like that out.
But
I can understand that there are going to be people that will probably freak if it's not there.
Where's my naked man love scene in the jacuzzi?
No. That's going to be on a shirt. That's going to be on a shirt. I wanted the remake for the brothel scene.
Oh my God! They left the brothel scene out. Ruined forever. Jesus Christ.
I could see it. Honestly, I could see it. There's gonna be people out there that, unless the game is pretty much a one-to-one transition, i.e. nothing altered.
Apart from graphics.
Somebody's gonna freak.
But that kind of brings us on to our next thing, because I mean, let's be honest, is the original Final Fantasy, we all know, was a turn-based strategy. Your bar goes up, your bar fills, you get to hit something.
Yeah.
Right? Your enemy's bar fills up, they get to hit you. That ain't gonna work in a next-gen game. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna fly in a PlayStation 4 game. So straight away, you're not gonna get one-to-one.
Yeah, the question is it going to be active time battle? Is it going to be an active time battle?
Yeah, but even then, having the whole bar fill, you attack, bar fills for them, they attack, I think we'll more like... pardon. I'll try that again. We'll more likely see something along the lines of your Final Fantasy 13, I wouldn't want to go back to the Final Fantasy 13 turn-based system, because that wasn't brilliant either, and that was, frankly, just a case of spamming auto battle until the game fucking ended.
That was hit the auto battle. I still think excuse me, that was me this time. I still think that if they're gonna do this, like with a game system that people can be happy with, I kind of see it being more like Crisis Core, where you still have an ATB gauge that fills up for you to attack, but you have free movement to move around.
So kind of a little bit like 12 in that respect.
Yeah, a little bit like 12.
Was a shit game in terms of narrative, but the fight system wasn't too bad, I suppose.
Yeah, I will admit the combat system was alright.
I treat that combat system... I look back on that after 13 and I think, actually, you know what? 12 wasn't that bad. And that is me. When that game first came out, I thought, what the fuck are you doing, Vaughn? You don't belong in this story. You have nothing to do with this fucking story. Might as well have just started where fucking Balthea comes in and started from there and completely eliminated Vaughn and Penelo altogether, because they had nothing to fucking do with it.
Yeah,
but again, that's a topic for a different video. So
at least you could say, to a degree, every character in 7 had a reason for being there, even if they weren't like obvious from the beginning. I mean, I would say probably the weakest characters are probably Kate Sith and Yuffie, but then their backstories expand and actually prove that they deserve to be there.
Well, yeah.
Because, I say, like we looked up, like begrudgingly looked up. Kate Sith is really Reeve, who is working with in Shinra, and he's like a double agent sort of thing.
You're gonna have to put spoilers alert on this video. That
think
actually
anyone
applies.
that's gonna be
Jesus
watching.
fucking Christ. Aerys dies. That actually applies as a fucking spoiler now.
I think anyone that's going to watch this video is someone that is interested in 7 and has already played the original game. If you haven't played the original game, what the fuck are you doing watching this video?
But that's what I mean. This is genuinely going to be a spoiler again. You'll get to the point
She
where
dies.
it's like, she dies. She dies. I haven't fucking played it yet, you bastard. You what?
Disc 1,
it's
right
like
at the
Game
end,
of
she
fucking
dies.
Thrones spoilers.
Sephiroth impales her. Well, actually, no, it's not even Sephiroth. It's Jenova. Jenova, dressed as Sephiroth, impales her. No blood for some reason. She keels over. She fucking dies.
Sephiroth impales her. That sounds like a really bad fan fiction. Although, not as bad as the fan fiction where Sephiroth impales Cloud. But that's, again...
And Cloud's Materia leveled up.
Jesus Christ. Anyway.
HP up.
Na. Anyway.
Yes, get off that topic.
Yes. So, what do we want to see? Because I'm gonna come straight in and say it. If there's no airship in this one, you can just take it back to the fucking drawing board until there's an overworld. There better be a fucking overworld, and there better be an airship in that game. Because that has been sorely missing from Final Fantasy games ever since fucking 10.
Yeah.
And
the free roaming world. The free roaming world, essentially.
Yeah. I don't like the idea of just being told, right, you teleport somewhere. I want to be able to fly there on my own. That was something that was sorely missing from 10. The ability to fly that badass airship into battle. The ability to basically see Sin flying around the world. That would have been awesome. It's like with Final Fantasy VIII, where you fly the Ragnarok straight into that massive tower thing. Fuck you, fans. I'm
Lunatic Pandora.
That's it.
Yeah, the big Doctor Who box-looking thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that honestly should have been the climax. I wanted to do that myself. I wanted to hit the afterburners and basically, smack.
You wanted to ram Sin with.
I wanted to ram
Sin's
Sin.
ship.
Yeah. I wanted to play chicken with Sin.
Actually, you want to know something? In updated HD, I think that would have been fun to see. Like Final Fantasy X's overworld is just you can explore the whole thing, and then you can take the Celsius or whatever the ship is that Sid.
Is it the Celsius? Isn't that X2?
It might be X2, but the ship that Sid has, I would love to actually see. Like people just, coming up Sin from behind and just basically ramming him. Just watching Sin just getting pissed off and just doing it.
The thing is, I mean, that's what you have to do in the weapon battles on 7, if I remember. Because you have to, in the Emerald weapon, you've got to basically smack a submarine into the Emerald weapon.
Yeah, you chase down the Ultimate Weapon who's flying around the sky all the time.
Yeah. And
that is going to be kick-ass in HD, I've got to say. They better keep that.
But that's what I mean. If we don't get an overworld, we're not going to see it. We're also not going to see the whole Midgar with the Genon cannon attached to it, or at least...
Oh god, yeah, the sister ray.
Oh yeah.
That is going to be sweet.
Or basically flying past Genon and then going, where the fuck did the cannon go?
Yeah. Actually, I wonder if that'll be an added cutscene, where you actually see them moving the cannon.
Could be.
See, it's little things like that would be interesting to see. Like your characters just resubmerge from the submarine, and you actually see them hauling the cannon away. And it's like, where the hell are they going? And all the fans are going, oh, they're taking the cannon.
Well, it's like the bit in Cosmo Canyon as well, where if you try to go too far, the car breaks down.
Yeah, good point. How are they going to put that in? They're just going to have the car just go... And Barrett just goes, piece of shit! I'm so looking forward.
I hope they don't make him like Mr. T.
I'm so looking forward to the voice cast. I've got to say,
They
that's
could possibly have Mr. T doing the voice.
I gotta say, Advent Children, for as much as crap that I give it for like being a bit crap in terms of like, I'm not. No, I'm not. I know people like it. I
liked Advent Children for what it was.
I know people.
It was
like
a fan wank.
Yeah, I like the action scenes, especially when they fight Bahamut Sin. But one of the things I can say honestly that I loved going into that is the voice cast. I think every character they had for that is perfect. Although I still question why they gave Kate Sith an Irish accent.
Well, we got the English dubbing, didn't we?
Yeah, but that's just it. We got the English dubbing, and that is the dub we're most likely going to get if that's the voice cast they keep.
Well, maybe. I mean, it's interesting though, because
I'm picturing Kate Sith going, "Oh, begorra, laddie, you want me to tell you your fortune?"
Maybe they thought he was a leprechaun. A furry, cat-looking leprechaun.
Riding a big, giant Baymax.
Baymax, surely.
I wonder if that's how they're gonna do it. You know, like basically make him look like Baymax.
Oh God, I hope not. That's gonna look ridiculous if they do.
No, I'm not talking about making him look like Baymax, but rather the same sort of squishy sort of effect. You know, so he looks like a blow-up Moogle. Don't read too much into that.
A furry riding a blow-up doll. It's taken me 20 years to work out what the fuck it is, but that's what it is. It's a furry riding a blow-up fucking doll.
Reeve has some disturbing habits.
God damn it. Well, this video got dark.
I'm sorry. When I get this game, the first thing I am calling Kate Sith is I'm just gonna call him Condom.
Well, that's assuming we can rename the characters, because with the voice acting in this game, is there going to be a potential for changing the names? Because they're going to be calling them. They're going to be going, Cloud, what the fuck you doing? Or Barrett, or... And I genuinely hope that they do get the names at least. They do a fan poll and just work out what the most popular pronunciation of the name is. So we end up.
Oh no, they'll go with traditional. It's like I said, it's like the Titus Tidus debacle. Officially, he's called Tidus.
He's not even called Tidus, isn't he? Called Tider.
Yeah,
they don't pronounce the us.
It's Tida, Tida, I believe. That's how the Japanese pronounce it. They don't even pronounce the S. I think that was added purely pronunciation-wise. I think that was added by the Western translation. That's probably where the Titus Tidus thing came from, but he's supposed to be Tida. And over here, they called it Tidus. But everyone called him fucking Tidus because, you know,
I called him Tidus. I called him Tidus because he had a water-based sword.
I called him
That's
Tidus.
what he starts with.
I called him Tidus because of the name Titus, Titus. Because of that name and how that's pronounced, that's how I assumed Tidus was.
Anyway, we're getting off topic again.
Yeah, we're getting off topic again, but no, pronunciation-wise, you are kind of right. I kind of see it where they're just going to have the characters just say their names. You know, a lot of Final Fantasies, in fact, ever since 10 ended, like after 10, they stopped doing that. Every character is just whatever their name is, so that the characters can actually talk like real people and never actually say, "Oh, the boy." It's like, really? Is that how you're gonna say it?
Yeah, because Orin calling him Smegma Face would probably have not gone down well. I did it. Blonde prick. Anyway. So, going to be interesting to see how they do Golden Saucer with the Chocobo racing.
Yeah.
They better do Chocobo racing.
Oh. I just had another thought, but we'll get into that in a sec. Yeah, the mini games in general, because there's a lot of them through the course of the game that you're then able to replay at the Golden Saucer when it becomes open. You've got the snowboarding section. You've got
the snowboarding.
You've got the driving mini game.
Snowboarding, motorcycle driving. You've got the submarine. You've got
the basketballs. You've got the battle arena.
No, that's a good point, because the battle arena was kind of a major point for grinding, wasn't it? It's certainly
a major point for grinding, and also how you get Cloud's limit break.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Wasn't it also a narrative bit as well? There was a part where you actually enter the battle arena, and that's how you get caught and sent to the prison area where you meet Dine.
Yes, because the floor opens up, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I've played it, but I'm pretty sure you enter the battle arena, and then for some reason someone comes in and busts you. I think. It's been a while since I played the game. It's like 20 fucking years. Granted, I've played it a couple of times during the time, but I've never actually. It has been like on and off play times where I played the first section and then gotten bored.
I think that is going to be another problem, admittedly, is that we do look at this with rose-tinted glasses. I mean, everyone, I honestly can't see too many fans that wouldn't have immediately seen that trailer and gone, "Oh my fucking god, Square finally did it." And it's only afterwards when you start thinking about it. I mean, this is what this video is for. It's to sort of. Well, it's a consideration video of
this thing was so fucking huge that it actually ended up on BBC.
Yeah.
They brought it
up on the BBC bloody website, the news website.
When you bring it, when it becomes so
national
big,
news.
Yeah, when it becomes so big that the national news is talking about it, this thing is going to be like everyone's got their eye on this now. So if they fuck it up,
but
that's it. I think this is basically. Remember when they way back when they first did Final Fantasy VII and they were gambling, and it paid off.
It's not even a case of if they fuck it up.
Sort of situation.
I don't think it's a case of if they fuck it up. I think it's a case of, are we looking at another Duke Nukem Forever scenario?
What, you think it's going to take years to develop?
No, I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking that we have been waiting so long for this game. We've been waiting so long for a remake, and
you think expectations has built it up so much?
Expectation is going to wildly outperform. The hype is going to wildly outperform what the game is, and I think we have potential to be very, very disappointed with what we end up with.
You say that, but the difference between this and Duke Nukem Forever is that there's already an established narrative that they're going for. Duke Nukem Forever was a brand new story element. And that's why it took so long, and people were in the end unsatisfied with it.
I will grant you that Duke Nukem Forever, there was no story. It was a continuation of an existing franchise, but I mean, let's be honest, the original franchise had about as much story as boobs and just gunwank and 80s pop references.
But here we actually have a game that's already been established. We already have a narrative for it.
Yeah.
So,
but that's the problem, is that people that think that this is a perfect, as we've already pointed out, people that think that this is already a masterpiece as it stands at the moment are not going to like change, even if it's for the better. Now,
I mean, I am the first to admit this, and I don't care what anyone in the comments says. My favourite Final Fantasy has always been 8. And anyone that's a fan of Spoonie is probably going to be kicking my ass right now. But
fuck you, Gunblades don't work.
I couldn't
Have you
give a
ever
shit
heard of
on
a
this.
bayonet?
I honestly couldn't give a shit. 8 was the first game. 8 was the first Final Fantasy game I ever played. I have a very deep personal connection with 8 because of it being the first one I ever played. I liked the story in that it was centered around a love story between two characters that was a lot better than Twilight. And
I don't think there's much that isn't better than Twilight, but go on.
well, it's better than Tidus and Yuna, let's put it that way. More believable as well. But no, I passed over the hype of 7. So when I actually came around to actually playing 7, I could appreciate it without all these people telling me this is the best game ever. And you know what? It's a fantastic game, but I don't think it's the best. Just because 8's my favourite, I know for a fact that's not the best. But
Do
neither
you hear
7.
that? You hear that? That's the sound of 1,000,000 unsubscribe buttons.
Which is amazing considering I only have 130 subscribers.
Well,
So
at the
far.
moment.
So far.
You've just dated your video. But no. I
Yeah.
mean, like I say, I think ultimately the hype train's gonna definitely spoil this one for a lot of people. And I think it's gonna. It promises to be something good. Promises to be something interesting, certainly.
One other
And
thing that I do want to bring up, summons. What do you think they're going to look like?
I think they're going to do a good job with them.
Considering we get to see Bahamut Sin in Advent Children, and they have a ton of summons, like the 3 different Bahamuts, Ifrit, Shiva.
I don't think summons are an important factor.
They're not an important factor. I'm just talking about how they're going to look.
They're not as important as, say, Final Fantasy X. They're not important to the narrative. It's literally just it's an attack with a cutscene on it.
That's assuming they keep it that way.
Yeah, but
like as long as it's not like 12, where they take the place of everyone else, and you're just left like having this summon run around.
Well, I don't know. I'm as I say, I'm not really that fussed about it because, as I say, it's just an attack with a cutscene on it. Now, it's going to look very nice as a cutscene, but that's not really what I'm bothered about.
Materia is pretty much the big narrative of this game. So Materia is something that's going to stay with this game.
Oh god, yes.
So I don't think the junctioning system with the Materia is going to change. I think that's going to remain the same. It's just going to be simple as a weapon slot, an item slot, and you just assign the Materia to it.
Maybe.
I don't think that's going to change, which makes me think
the simple enough system.
Yeah, which is more one of the reasons why it makes me think battle style is probably going to be a Crisis Core styled play. Because well, I mean, you know, it's not the ATB gauge as such. I mean, it would be a gauge that fills up, but your characters wouldn't be fixed in place. You'd be able to move them around.
I think as time goes on, we're going to see obviously more information start to leak out from Square, because I mean, this is a big one. This is one of the most sought after remakes for, obviously.
I think we'd be very hard pushed to see anything get leaked out by Square. They won't show anything until they're ready. Nothing that they ever come out with, I don't think has ever been leaked.
Bear in mind that they said the same about Nintendo. And look where we are with Smash Brothers.
True.
I think what I would like to see with this game is we're obviously going to see some changes. I'm not saying that that's I'm saying that's for the benefit of the game in general. What I'd like to avoid is I'd like to avoid Syndicate and go more for XCOM. If I might explain that sort of scenario.
Yeah, go for it.
You've got two very, very good games that there's a loyal fan base for, and the original Syndicate, the one from 1993, it was isometric. It was a real-time strategy game, and it was developed by the same guys, Bullfrog. They did the Dungeon Keeper games.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
This game, you followed like a 4-person team around cities. It was an isometric viewpoint, and you would assassinate rival syndicates. You'd basically rescue allies, and you'd basically kidnap people just to bring them back to your base. Now, in their infinite wisdom, when they decided to reboot the franchise, in their infinite fucking wisdom, they decided, oh, we'll take what is effectively an isometric real-time strategy game, and what we'll do is we'll turn it into a first-person fucking shooter. And of course, that really didn't go very well with the original fans, and frankly, it just wasn't a very good shooter either. So it didn't bring anyone new into the franchise because they were still playing Call of Duty, and all the original fans of Syndicate just went, you turned our game into something it's not. Now, if I might just continue this analogy, originally there was a reboot XCOM that was in the works. Now, XCOM, again, another strategy game based around alien invasion. And you would move your characters. It was real. It wasn't RTS. It was turn-based strategy. Turn-based strategy game. You would move your characters around. They would have a certain amount of action points. You'd be able to do a certain amount of attacks and different things each turn. You would then click. Aliens would take their turn, and such. Now, again, for some strange reason, when they decided they wanted to reboot this franchise, originally the plan was to turn it into a first-person shooter. And not just a first-person shooter, no. They completely took everything from the original XCOM games and completely binned it. You wouldn't have even recognized it as being anything related to the XCOM franchise if it hadn't been for the fact that at the end of the trailer it says XCOM. And fans rightly got pissed off about it because it was a case of, again, this is a cash grab on a beloved franchise name. And what's more, it's a cash grab that doesn't even make sense in the most base of terms, because it's not a very good shooter. You're not going to bring anyone in from the shooter market because they don't want to play fucking anything more advanced than just point gun here, shoot person, get kill streak, launch nuclear weapon at someone, occasionally use predator drone. I mean, that is a formula that obviously is still going to this day, and they don't really do much evolution on it. But you're not going to bring anyone in to the franchise by just sticking the XCOM name on it and going, look, it's a game from the 1990s. It's an old game from the 1990s, and it's come back. We've rebooted it, and we've made it better by making it a first-person shooter. And it's not. You're alienating your old fans who want to see an XCOM reboot, and you're not bringing anyone in if it's just going to be a subpar fucking shooter. Now, fortunately, in that case, we ended up the fans, that is, we ended up with the game that we have, the actual XCOM, which someone fucking listened, made a turn-based shooter. Okay, they cut out a lot of the old mechanisms that made the old game very, very difficult for new people to get into. I will confess that. They streamlined it. They made it better. I'm not saying for fans of the old series, there would still be niggles, but at least it's not a shooter. At least it's not just completely taking the franchise and just going, you know what? We don't even care. We're just sticking the name on it just for the sake. To bring it home to this sort of video, it would be like taking Final Fantasy VII and, well, again, just literally making it so that Cloud carries an assault rifle around and just murders people. You might as well play as Barrett, and he just runs around Midgard shooting soldiers. And okay, you might want to see that, but it's not a remake that we want to. It's not in the spirit of the original game.
Yeah, but
genuinely,
I don't think they're going to deviate like to an extent like that to the
no,
point where
I'm
they
possibly,
change
I'm
that.
possibly, I'm very much sort of deviating from the original point of the video. Is that what I'm saying is that you've got remakes where people just don't give a shit. It's a cash grab on a name. And then you've got remakes where people take time and effort and actually look at the original source material and see what can we make better, what was, what was extraneous, not extraneous, what was superfluous. And like I said, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we do see the brothel scene on the cutting room floor. I mean, I'm not particularly bothered about that.
Oh no,
I'm
I
not that
don't think
hard up for a quick.
Well, I was gonna say I don't even think a lot of the hardcore fans are really going to be bothered by that. I think all it is for a lot of people, it's very much been a case of they saw Advent Children, they saw how amazing that looked, and people have just said we just want to see our original game in that style. And I don't think a lot of people are too bothered if they take a bit of
creative license.
Creative license, as long as what was originally what made the game fun for everybody that originally played it is still there.
So,
and do you know
grinding
what?
the Midgar fucking Zolom.
Well, yeah. What I can
Cloud dealing with a giant snake for several hours out of a day, which leads on to another fan fiction. I go.
As far as let's talk about release dates. With the game originally coming out in 1997, I think a possibility is going to be in 2017, because that'll mark the 20th anniversary, and I could see them spending about 2 years worth of time developing the game.
It's not an unreasonable thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being like late 2017, so like Christmas.
It's not unreasonable, and it would make sense.
Yeah, just a whole. I wouldn't be surprised if they were waiting for an anniversary time to release it. Like, they've been tinkering with the idea of making the game to begin with, but they wanted to wait until there was, a perfect time to release it. I think 20 years on from when the game first came out is a perfect time. And you want to know something in terms of like how graphics has evolved over time from the original PS1 to the tech demo on the PS3 to where we are now with the PS4. I can see this being one of these things where, I think to quote another to quote another YouTuber, Maximillian Dood, if people haven't already seen his reaction to this,
stick it in the description somewhere.
Yeah, I will do. He basically said when he reacted to the trailer, he said, "Dear God, I hope it's not a film."
A movie, yeah.
Yes, dear God, I hope it's not a movie.
In fact,
and I think there were a lot of people. There were a lot
Don't
of
be
people
a movie. Don't be a movie.
There were a lot of people that had that same reaction. And then when it finally hit that it was going to be a remake, his response was, "Holy shit! Holy shit! They hit the reset button. They hit the remake button." But this is why I say there's been so many people wanting this to happen.
You gotta wonder, actually.
How long have they been working on this?
You've gotta wonder if this is a possibility that Square's in financial trouble.
That's what I was saying. Which is why I think they are very possibly taking a very huge gamble with this remake. Like, either they've got nothing left that they can think of for the time being. I mean, I find it weird that this E3 they didn't show anything of Final Fantasy 15.
What shit?
And then, well, not from what I've seen of it. If I'm honest, from what I've seen of it, it looks good. It's just that now they've got 2 massive games, 3 if you count Kingdom Hearts 3.
And
They've
Just
got
Cause.
these massive. Well, yeah, they've got Just Cause. You've got Deus Ex. You've got the next Tomb Raider. You've got Hitman. They've got
I forgot about Deus Ex.
Yeah, they've got a whole crap ton of these games that they're working on. The forefront being these 2 big Final Fantasy titles that they are currently in the process of making. Do you think that we're going to see 15 come out next year, or do you think that'll come out in 2017 as well?
I don't think the cash flow is going to hold out until 2000.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Is like they've got all these games that they're being developed on. 7 and 15 are probably the 2 biggest ones that they're working on.
There's got to be something in the pipeline somewhere so that they're not going to go bust between now and actually finishing Final Fantasy VII. Because I think if that happened, I really think they'd be ending up with like bullets being sent through the mailbox.
Well, it'd be essentially what's happening with Capcom and Sega, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but Capcom's just fucking stupid.
We've
been sitting on Mega Man for how many years, and we don't think enough people have interest in Mega Man to warrant another fucking game. What is fucking wrong with you?
Yeah, that's another video for another time. I can promise you that, guys out there in the audience. We are going to do a video on Capcom, like in general as a company, and all the IPs they are sitting on. But anyway, and Konami. And to a degree,
Konami,
I suppose,
nothing
to a degree,
but brilliant business decisions.
To a degree, we could also,
Kojima.
Yeah, to a degree, we can also bring up Sega as well. I mean, we could do a big, massive video on all of the companies and like what they're sitting on. But anyway, getting back onto topic, Square has got to have, in order for them to actually now be doing their remake, they've got to have something that is going to tide people over until they actually bring it out.
No, they'll have stuff in play, certainly.
I mean, they've got Just Cause 3, Kingdom Hearts 3, Hitman, Tomb Raider. Whether 15 comes out next year, I don't know yet. I'm assuming it must be, because they probably have to have a Final Fantasy next year that's going to tide people over for the remake, which I imagine will be the anniversary. So, I mean, I think it's just a case of now people are going to be they're gonna be eyes are all gonna be watching Square Enix now, and if they slip up, it's gonna come down hard on them.
Mm. Right. Shall we call it there?
Yeah, I think we've probably talked enough.
We got about an hour's worth of bloody recording, I think.
Wow, I hope not, because this could be a bugger to edit.
It is going to be a bugger to edit. I don't want to that task ahead of you.
But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. There will be further discussions like down the line. Like I said, we're definitely going to be doing ones on like game companies and what IPs they're sitting on at the moment. Again, that's in the future. There's also going to be a few more videos coming out in terms of I'm going to be completing the Injustice playthrough. I believe we're going to be doing the next review for July, which I am not going to say what it is, but I do know that RomaruDarkeyes will be joining me for that review.
Indeed.
So everyone has got that to look forward to, and we'll be getting to work on that. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Do you have any final things to say, Romaru?
I don't really have a closing argument at this point, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for watching. We will see you next time. Catch you guys later.
They're out.